Knox Country
Podcast Edition.
I've always been around great songwriters and artists my whole life. I'm Michael Knox. Welcome to my world.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jason Aldean, and you are listening to my boy Michael Knox on Knox Country
Podcast.
Welcome to the Knox Country Syndicated Radio Show podcast. We are here with Michael Tyler, award-winning songwriter and artist.
Can you say that again?
We are here with Michael Tyler, award-winning songwriter and artist.
I'm excited to be here. This is awesome. I couldn't wait to come on the show. I know y'all been working on it for a while, so I'm excited to be here.
So me and you have known each other a very long time.
Yeah, about 10 years now, I guess.
Yes, about 10 years. And kind of give a little funny story about how we met first, you know.
Well, actually, I was a huge fan of Jason Aldean, so we kind of got online and figured out who his producer was and who kind of made him sound like he sounded. And we found you, and we got on MySpace and found your profile and messaged you. And I remember the subject line was something like, can I say, you can't say ass, can you?
Well, you just did.
Okay. I remember the subject line was something like, some call it butt kissing, ... So you had to open it. It was interesting. I remember that part. I don't remember what the rest of it said.
Yeah.
But, and then like you open it up and it said, but others call it a great appreciation for somebody else's work and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, and yeah, that's how it all started.
But it was a funny thing because I was up at like 2 a.m. when I got it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It was late at night. And because I always sat up late and just searched the web for music.
Yeah, and that's what we were hoping. That's what we were hoping you were doing.
And that popped up in that message area. So I contacted y'all back. I remember we all met down at Tootsie's. You came in and you played a bunch, and we can wear that story out all day. But I remembered y'all were playing a bunch of covers, but then you ended up playing a couple of things you wrote, and that's what really turned me on. I was like, wow, man, this kid can write, and his melodies are really different. So I remember that being the moment that I was like, wow, man, I think I got something really cool here. And you were like 13, 14?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Never been to Nashville. First time to Nashville. First time in a bar, so Tootsie's. It was all a lot to take in at the time. And
it was cool because one of your earlier, fast forwarding just a little bit, I think we were doing some of your later showcases and stuff at Tootsie's, just to kind of ice the cake a little bit. Yeah, we did Tootsie's,
the Rutledge, a lot of those places.
Yeah, so when you came to town, you kind of had a band back home. You had, I think, your brother, your cousin, or something like that.
Yeah, my brother was playing guitar and singing backup vocals, and my cousin was on the drums, and we had a bass player every now and then. But mostly it's just us little three-piece.
So what's that like? You're from Thayer, Missouri.
Yeah, Thayer,
which
Missouri.
Is like 1,800 people or something.
Yeah. It's like a population 2,000, and there's nowhere to play music around there. So I remember us having to load up, and Mom would drive us all the way down to like Yellville, Arkansas, or all the way up to Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and Springfield, Missouri, and it was it was hard finding shows. But I remember one time we played in Poplar Bluff for the owner of this place called the Wine Rack. And these two 14-year-old and 16-year-old kids playing for, grown-ups, and that's the kind of thing we grew up into.
Well, and I remember your mom sent some videos because I said, man, I got to see him live. And this was before y'all came to Nashville. But the videos she sent me and stuff were like y'all sitting on a trailer.
It's like a flatbed
trailer. It was a flatbed. It was a gooseneck trailer that we had all set up on, and it was we were playing for some school, and I can't remember where the school was, but it was some halftime show. We were all excited about it. We're getting up on this gooseneck trailer and playing the halftime show at the high school football game. So.
But the PA was like as big as a basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was funny, man. There was a lot of hilarious things. I wish I had all those pictures and videos.
So you were coming back and forth a lot, and then you hit 18, and I said, man, I think it's time for you to kind of make that move. I had you doing a lot of writing on your own for a couple of years, but then you came to town, and that had to have been a culture shock because you were traveling a lot with definitely. Your family. You were doing a lot with your mom, your brother. Y'all were traveling everywhere, L.A., doing the American Idol thing, trying these things out. But so you came to Nashville all by yourself.
Yep.
You moved in a place. Kind of tell me what that kind of felt like.
Well, it was weird, especially coming from a town of 2,000 people to a city like Nashville. But one of the comfortable things were the people here. I identified with a lot of the people because they all come from small towns like that and everything. But the first couple weeks here was really weird. You know, I was an adult. I was trying to do things by
Were you
myself.
scared?
Yeah, I was scared. I was definitely scared. But when Mom and them called and were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm flourishing." You know?
I didn't know this, but I was like going, "Hey man, what are you doing this week?" And you're like, "Oh no, I'm just gonna watch some TV." And I kept hearing you talk about hanging out at your place, watching TV, and I always thought I'm picturing like me in college with a couch, a chair, a kitchen, maybe a little toaster, something. And you're like, "No, I got a blow up chair and my laptop is where I watch TV on YouTube."
No, yeah, we had the
so
family
sad.
laptop. Hey, not sad anymore. No, it was an experience. It was cool. I'm glad I did it. But you know, I had my blow up chair that I'd be watching a movie halfway through, and I'd be sitting on the ground because like you couldn't ever keep that thing aired up. But
What'd you sleep on?
I slept on an air mattress.
And did you have covers and
Yeah, I had
like
covers
sheets?
and sheets and blankets and stuff.
But you were telling me you were getting bombarded by brown recluse spiders.
Yeah. It was actually, I was in a nice area in Brentwood. And
Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah, and I woke up one night on my air mattress and I had one on my arm, jumped up, turned the lights on, there's one in the bed and another under the sheet, and I was like, all right, I gotta move out of here. And so that's when I met Jaron Boyer, and I started writing with him a lot, and he's like, man, I live by myself, we could just, move in with me and we'll split rent, it'll be easy on everybody.
He had the ottoman to your blow-up chair?
Yep, he had the ottoman. No, he's like, yeah, you can just kind of throw that stuff in the closet. He had a couch.
So you were writing that period music for about a year or so, but when did that first kind of cut start coming around?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it was Old Boots New Dirt record we were writing for. Of course, I've always, ever since we started working together, I always tried to write a song Jason Aldean would love and want to record, and y'all could do it up big. And we finally made it happen with Laid Back on Old Boots New Dirt, and that was kind of the first, taste of success, And then once you get it, I feel like it's a never-ending story of you just want more, and you just want to do it, and it just lights a fire under you. And that's kind of what happened.
So remembering that, you got a record deal at Sony.
Yep.
Did Layback come after that?
I think it was after that. Yeah, because Sony was. When was that?
Yeah, I think you got your deal at Sony first, and then we lost that deal.
Yeah.
And then you got the Aldean cut,
Yep.
and then Reviver stepped in and offered you a deal after that.
Yep, and then we signed with Reviver, and they loved a couple of my songs, especially one song I wrote called "Somewhere on a Beach," and then we were talking about "Somewhere on a Beach" being a single for me, and then a guy named Dierks Bentley heard it and was like, "Man, I really love this song, and I want it to be the new single and the name of the tour and all this stuff." And I remember the conversation we had about it.
Yep.
And we're just like, I'm a huge Dierks fan. It's gonna do nothing but help me. Let's let him have it.
We were all really torn.
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah, I mean, we loved "Somewhere on a Beach" and we wanted to release it, but at the end of the day, I was still living with Jaron.
Yeah, and those are tricky things that a lot of people that are listening might not understand. That it's kind of like, yeah, it's an easy thing, just give Dierks a song, but you're like, wow, well that might have been something for me too to make a difference. But then that song changed your life.
It did.
In the path it took anyway,
right?
Because it went number one, multiple week number one, huge song. Won you Song of the Year at SESAC.
Yeah.
SESAC Awards,
Yeah.
which is incredible. So sometimes things happen for a reason. And luckily, the cool thing about you is that you weren't afraid you couldn't write another one.
Right.
And that's what some writers get caught up in. They're afraid to let something go. And you're like, well, yeah, man, but somebody that's supposed to be here can write another one.
Right. And
that's what they keep forgetting, that's your job is to write hit songs.
Right.
And that's what you're doing here.
I just assumed with our team we have around us, we can do it as long as we want, as long as we do it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, thankfully.
All right, you're sitting at SESAC Awards, and we're all sitting at this table, and then Dierks Bentley comes on stage to give an award away.
Yeah.
And you didn't know. You and Jaron did not know.
We had no clue we were about
knew.
to win Song of the Year. Yeah, of course y'all knew. Shady.
Shady Shalacy.
Hey y'all, I'm Michael Tyler, and you're listening to Knox Country
Podcast.
And then he calls us up, and my mom's there, and everybody's there, and everybody's freaking out. It's really cool. I shook Dierks Bentley's hand, and he hands me this award. We all got to stand in a group picture, and that was my first single. I never understood what it was like to have a single until that. Your phone starts blowing up. People want to write with you.
It gave you a lot of credibility.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of credibility, and it shows you what all like Red Akins and Ben Hazlip and all these guys, like, you can see where their drive comes from once it happens,
Yeah, that's good. And well, let's back up a little bit now, because you've been at Pierre for a couple of years, and your mom's walking through the building and sees a picture of Jimmy Rogers on the wall and says, "Hey, we're related to a Jimmy Rogers." No, but he died in 1933. And we're all looking at each other going, "That's our Jimmy Rogers." So tell a little bit of that story.
Yeah, well, we had no clue we were related to the Jimmy Rogers, the father of country music, Jimmy Rogers, until, she saw the picture and you started asking questions. And she's like, well, maybe I need to go home on Ancestry. She was obsessed with Ancestry.com at the time. So she got on there and did some digging and found the connection. And it is like second cousin, twice removed, some kind of craziness related down the line. But yeah, it's pretty spooky, that I ended up there at Pierre after however many years that is.
But it's a direct bloodline.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like married in the family.
It's not married in. It's not adopted. It's,
But that's crazy. But that you'd already been there 2 years, and Ralph Pierre started Pierre Music with Jimmy Rogers.
Right.
And then 90 years later, we're sitting there staring at a wall, and you're like, I'm related to this guy.
Yeah, like you said, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes it shows little hints of it, I guess.
But that's awesome, man. So you won Song of the Year. You got a record deal. Now, you've been pumping some singles out, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Remember These Words. It's one of my favorite songs I've written. It's a super duper love song. And I'm just that kind of guy, man. I'd write a love song every day if my writers would let me, which they don't.
I'm glad you're admitting that, though. I was waiting for you to be like, oh, it's so far removed from what I do. And
No,
you are such
I'm that guy.
a punk.
I love writing love songs. Just like Just Like They Can't See was one of my favorite songs too at the time, and now this one is taking its place.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And you did get a taste of that love song kind of deal with Jason as well, with him and Kelsey Ballerina.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we wrote a song called First Time Again. I remember I just had the piano vocal and I sent it to you and you're like, I'm gonna send this to Jason. I was like, oh God, I didn't realize that, sometimes when you write songs you try to direct them at people, and other times you write something for you, and then for some reason they always love those songs more. You're learning, you figure this out.
But I mean, Jason was a big influence.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a huge influence, and that's why a lot of my stuff, is appealing to him. Because it's, him.
Yeah.
He was your influence.
Yeah.
But that's what really turned me on about you, man, was the melody aspect of what you do. And then, of course, your presentation. Even though we were trying to learn some Bryan Adams songs and you were having trouble with some of those melodies when we were doing live stuff, you come off that way like a modern day version of that. That heaven, that kind of cuts like a knife world. And and that presentation of your melodies with your ballads are second to none. And we got to hear that with that song, and your single that you had, we got to hear it in that.
Right.
And now you're doing this up tempo stuff. Now a lot of people are really attracted to some of these tempos that you were doing, and it's got to be your lifestyle that you're putting in the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, my first concert was Poison and Cinderella, and I'm from a town of 2,000 people, so when you mix redneck with 80s hair band and country music, you're going to get some cool stuff.
All right, now the new Jason Aldean record, Riverview Town. I think you got 2.
Yeah, we got 2 on there this time. Snuck 2 on. It seems I'm getting more and more every year. I'm getting better at it.
And those titles?
Yeah, we got Dirt to Dust, track number 1, and Girl Like You, track number 3. And it's always been curious looking at albums and where the songs are placed, because sometimes songs, track number 3 and it's never a single. So you can, I don't even.
You're getting to the math and the science of it
it's
all.
Like everybody's always trying to figure out, but. It's really, I'm super blessed and thankful that he's chose, Girl Like You as the next single. I think it's a great move. But yeah, it's insane, man.
And Dirt to Dust is one of my favorite up tempos on the whole album.
Yeah, no,
I love that
actually
song.
heard it the other day on one of his little commercials he's doing for his shows and stuff. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And sometimes those up tempos are so obvious that they get overlooked a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Girl Like You is so like a little left of center for him, which is kind of what he's getting into these days, to kind of give that little extra thing. Mm-hmm. And man, what a cool thing. But that's y'all building that track singing. I mean, but that's that melody thing too, man. It came in the verse on that one.
Yeah,
you had those really cool melodies in those verses, but y'all had some really cool, kind of vibe going on in the demo that was tough to emulate.
Yeah, that day I remember it was me, Jaron Boyer, and Josh Miranda, and we got in there, and I can't remember who threw out the title "Girl Like You," but we just started grooving on this track and building this. Josh was doing this beatbox thing, and I was like, "Hey, come over here. Let's both do this little hum thing that you hear in there, in between the lines and the verses." And we couldn't figure out the verses, so we were like, "All right, let's get back to it another day." And I went home and I wrote, the first verse, and came back, and they're like, "Oh my gosh! All right, let's fix this and let's make it right." And sometimes it just happens like that, and other days, like somewhere on a beach, it takes an hour and a half. It's weird.
So 10 years later, you're sitting at Tootsie's playing me 8 Jason Aldean songs, and 10 years later, you're sitting here with a Jason Aldean single.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts when you think
But your
about it.
first cut as a songwriter was a Jason cut, and then you cut some stuff as an artist. But now Jason's giving you your first Jason Aldean single.
Heck yeah.
That you've kind of done. It's funny, man. 10 years later, here it is. It's sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think about it all the time. All I can say is I'm thankful and thank y'all.
Well, and we're cutting the next record. We're going to start cutting the next record, and you got a few things that are hanging in there too, and that's what's kind of neat about building a new team around an artist. You know?
And that's why I've always wanted to be a part of that team. So it's everything's happening, everything's the gears are greased and it's going.
So you've had an opportunity to see Jason perform "Girl Like You" live.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it's weird. I mean, I was a huge fan of this guy, and every time, he's, we go to a show or somebody brings us back. We watched one in Indianapolis. We've watched him play in Nashville before, but, now that he's playing your song, to all these people that are already singing back the words because the album's been out for a little bit, it's a feeling like nothing else. It's hard to explain. It's just like, it's hard for me to think you did this. This is your work. This is a sold-out Bridgestone crowd. They know all the words. I don't know. It doesn't really hit you, I guess, until,
It hits you.
Yeah. It don't hit you until it hits you, yeah.
Well, let's go back. You are an artist with a record deal, but you're getting cuts on other artists. How do you find yourself kind of balancing what you let get away from you?
I think it just depends on, at the end of the day, when you finish the song and I listen back to it, and if I'm in love with the song and I know that I feel in my heart that I need to sing this song, that's when I pull one back, but it's hard whenever somebody like Jason Aldean wants to single one of them, because I'm such a huge fan, so I'm biased. I really get torn sometimes, but there are times there's a song or two that about that I've held on to, and other people have wanted to cut and make singles and everything, and I'm holding on to them for the right moment.
Yeah, and when you're in a writer's room, I know you probably don't start off writing for somebody, but do you find the room changing some attitude while you're writing, where you go, hey man, this is really something for me, or this might be cool for somebody else? Do you find that changing your perspective on how you write, or are you still approaching it the same way every time?
Yeah, I still just go in and, if we write a verse chorus and it sounds awesome, something I love, something I feel like I could listen to over and over, then I feel like that's something I would sing,
Yeah. Well, and the thing you got to get used to is that a lot of these artists, they're cutting your songs because they're liking what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So they expect that from you. They don't expect you to write a Jason song.
Right.
They expect you to write something that they want to enter in and be different. So that's what I was bringing up, man, because it's neat to keep your perspective that, no, I'm always the artist in the room. I'm writing how I feel.
Yeah.
Because it's hard not to get caught up in wanting a cut by somebody.
Right. Yeah, it's like you can't just go in and be like, all right, we're going to write a Tim McGraw song today. Some people do it, and they get a lot of cuts, but for me personally, I can't just go in and be like, all right, I'm going to write this kind of song because I'm not Tim McGraw. I can't go in and say I'm going to write a song for, so-and-so because I'm me. And, it always comes out as my song at the end of the day, whether they want to cut it and single it over me cutting it and singling it, that's the difference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about, you're out on the road a lot, you got your own band. Mm-hmm. Y'all were out jamming a lot. You probably had a different, like back in the day when you were playing on the trailer. Probably played 4, 5, 6 songs, Oh yeah. But now you got to play an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. how does, I mean, do you really feed off the crowd, or do you pretty much say, hey man, this is how I want to say what I'm saying, you know?
Well, you know, sometimes it depends. Some shows are different from other shows, but most of the time I go out there and, you know, we have our set list of songs that, you know, when the crowd starts singing back at you and putting their drinks in the air, it's gonna, you know, you do feed off that, and it pumps you up, and it just makes that night a lot better.
Knox Country Podcast Edition.
Some of you know me as a record producer for acts like Jason Aldean and Thomas Rhett. Others know me as the son of rock and roll legend Buddy Knox, Party Doll fame back in 1957. I'm Michael Knox. Welcome to my world. You're listening to Knox Country
Podcast.
Hey, this is Keith Urban.
What's up, y'all? It's your boys here, Florida Georgia Line.
Hey, this is Little Big Town.
And you're listening to Knox Country.
You've entered Knox Country.
Welcome back to the Knox Country Podcast. So have you ever been live and just turned around to the drummer going, we're going to do this song, and then y'all started playing and everybody went to the bathroom?
Yeah. I think everybody at some point has, you know, had that happen. Not recently, thankfully. But yeah, there are, you know, every time it seems like okay, for example, we were at a four-wheeler park, ATV park somewhere in Louisiana, and we played this ballad. You know, a bunch of people on four-wheelers drinking beer and having a good time. And we play this ballad, and, you know, you can start seeing people get on their phones and calling people and, you know, asking for drinks and whatnot. And
start hearing four-wheelers cranking up.
Then you play, but then you play, you know, Jack and Diane, and everybody goes nuts, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feed off the crowd a lot.
But that's important for a new artist to have to go through.
Definitely.
You have to find
out what they like.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you have to find out what you're good at.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what you've been doing the past few years, and that's that growth, I think. And that's what I've been seeing and real proud of from you and the band too. You know, y'all were really finding what you're strong at. You know, because I remember starting off and, you know, in some of your earlier shows, you would get hoarse early. You would do some things like that. And it wasn't for any other thing but just singing songs we didn't need to be singing.
Right.
So you're, you know, when you're nervous about it or you're trying too hard, you know, you go hoarse.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you sing a song that you're supposed to be singing, it's effortless.
Right. And that's when you know, I mean, it's whenever, you know, we were singing, I can't remember what we were trying to sing, some 80s hair band songs we were trying to turn in, you know, our little cool covers, and I can't even hit the notes in the chorus. That's when you go hoarse. But yeah, we've definitely figured out a flow, you know, what works.
But it's funny, I mean, you can sing Gavin DeGraw and Maroon 5 and have no problems.
Right.
But you'll sing, you know, something that you think is easy.
Yeah.
But it's funny how it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just a melody thing, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, it's certain melodies and running around on stage, you know, slapping hands and running out of breath.
So when you're writing, I mean, who are your go-to guys when you say, man, you know, because I remember you coming in my office going, man, I just hadn't been writing in a while. I need to clear my plate and get with my go-tos.
Yeah.
So who are your go-to guys?
My go-to guys would be, you know, right now, Jaron Boyer, Josh Miranda, Thomas Archer, you know, most of those guys and most of the peer guys. I mean, it's really cool how y'all have signed a crew that we all get along with and we can actually write with, you know, because most publishing companies, they want you to like write with all their writers, and there's never a good groove there, and it's just something you're forced to do. But with us, it's a big old crew, you know.
Yeah.
We all get along and all write good stuff together.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you find yourself gravitating towards certain writers for certain types of songs, or do you just let the room do its move?
It depends. Like if I go in with Jaron Boyer, I know we're going to write something good no matter what it is. And, you know, some people have other strong suits, but most of the time I go in and I know what they do. They know what I do. That's why I stick with them, you know, because we know what we're going to get at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. So you a writer's night guy or you a full band guy?
Don't get me wrong, I love some writers' nights. I love getting up there with just me and acoustic and a lot of reverb. And
you do that, and you do that so well. And from day one, we always told you that it was really hard for an artist, or sometimes like in a radio setting, for an artist to be expected to pull off, you know, the energy or the intensity of a song, just, you know, by themselves. But we always told you that. I mean, that's a big deal if you can do it.
Yeah.
And you've always been able to do it. And I think recently you've realized how much of an impact that makes.
Definitely.
And so you've embraced it a little bit more, whereas before you were just like, no,
Yeah.
I want this, I want this guy with me. And now there are certain settings where the full band or the trio helps,
Right.
but it really makes an impact when you can pull it off by yourself, and
Yeah.
you do that amazingly well.
It all depends too. You can't just throw one person in a guitar into a crowd of 10,000 people. After a full band just went on.
Yeah.
Or right before a full band's about to go on. Sometimes it don't work, sometimes it does. But one thing I've noticed is, like, whenever I get up there with an acoustic, I can actually sit and talk to the crowd. I can actually see what's going on. They get what I'm saying. I get them laughing. You get to express yourself a lot more when they're listening, and you're not, with a full band and they're drinking, and they love your stuff still, but it's a complete different atmosphere.
Yeah.
One's there to have a good time, the other one's there to enjoy the music and really listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, your stage presence and confidence has grown so much in the past few years, and I think I don't know if you realize it's because of the struggles. Like you said,
definitely.
getting there and being thrown
Everybody
into
gets
these.
better from failing, and we've
Yeah.
done a lot of failing.
Well, but your writing has gotten like 10 times better too, just in the past 5 years, 4 years. Even the first album you cut, which I love, your new stuff, I'm still seeing the advancement of going to the next place.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool, because you've been doing it for so long, and you're still getting better. Sometimes people hit a place,
Yeah.
and that's just where they are. But it's neat watching that happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes to, like, when you get a cut, like Somewhere on the Beach or Girl Like You, the next day you're always like, dang, how am I going to do better than that? And you just keep trying to do better. And for me, I know a lot of people do not live by this, but if I go in and write a song and the first verse and chorus is terrible, I'm not going to finish that song. I'm not even going to turn that song in. I'm going to start a song that I'm in love with and want to finish and believe in,
Hey guys, it's Shalacy. Check us out on the web at knoxcountry360.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at knoxcountry360.
Talk about that. You're the new generation writers. Y'all are the ADD generation.
Yeah.
When you're writing with a veteran, they're a little more poised about that. Where they wait, they want to see if it can come around.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but do you like writing with veterans more than guys kind of in your position?
I'm in between because, sometimes, my short attention span will get the best of me, and, they'll make me see that this is a good song, and I almost just threw away a good song sometimes, and then we write the whole thing and it's awesome. But other times, whenever me and my crew go in and we write a song, and writing something like Girl Like You, I forgot this happened that day. We were writing a song, it sucked, and I was like, all right guys, why don't we back off this for a second and just turn the track off for half an hour and try to write something else. And they're like, oh, okay. So we started grooving on Girl Like You and got some things moving and singing some chorus melodies, and that turned into Girl Like You. So as a songwriter, when something sounds like it's going to get cut, when something sounds like a big song.
Yeah. Do you write better with artists?
I'd say it just depends on the artist, I guess. I've written with a lot of artists that I don't mesh with that well because they're just complete different personalities and do things complete different ways, and other guys I've written great songs with.
Yeah. But that goes to the, testament of you trying a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to keep trying a lot of things.
Right.
You eventually have to get focused, because you can't just wander around all the time.
Right.
But that's a good testament of going out and saying, hey man, I need to, I like their stuff. Maybe I should try this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that's what makes people better too, is whenever you branch out and you try these new people and try these new situations and you gain something from that, and, relationships, and you write songs, and then you're sitting in that same spot for a long time, and then you're like, okay, I need to branch out again. I need to try some new things, and you just grow. And as you do that, I feel like you make a lot of friends and write a lot of good songs.
When I think too, you're good at knowing yourself as a writer, because I remember when you were sort of hitting that wall at one point, and you stepped back and you started writing by yourself again, and you started just churning out a lot of the stuff that sounded like you wrote when you first came to town, but just so much stronger.
Yeah.
So I think you're good at also seeing, okay, I'm trying all this, I'm expanding, I might get a little burnout, but instead of just, shutting it down, you just kind of get back to basics.
Yeah.
And get back to yourself.
It's important too to believe in yourself when it comes to, because a lot of writers in town, you can get in a room and they can tell your idea sucks and your lines suck, and then you go write with someone else and y'all write a number one. You know, it's just it's just about believing in what you do, and if you dig it, then keep doing it.
It's a town of opinions, is what you're saying?
Yeah. We were told by someone that Somewhere on the Beach was the worst song they'd ever heard, and we need to rewrite it. And then the next people we played it for wanted to, single it. So it's just, it's believing in yourself.
And we've always told you that it's important, to listen, especially with people who have a lot of experience. But at the end of the day, you have to live with the decisions you make regarding your own career.
Right.
Whether you succeed or you fail, you don't want to ever leave it up to someone else or to say, man, if I would have done this, or, I listened to this guy and this happened. You need to own your career.
And that's one
big
thing that Knox, did for me when I was younger. He made sure I had an opinion, made sure I stayed home and wrote by myself for 4 years and had my vibe. When I came to town to write with other writers, I wasn't steamrolled. I had what I wanted to say in my head, and I knew how to say it. And if they didn't like it, I'm probably still going to finish the song and write with them the next day, but maybe we'll get it the next day. And then, time went on and they started getting it,
Well, cool, man. Michael, thank you for stopping by. This is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me in. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Till next time.
Knox Country.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Knox Country Podcast. Special thanks go out to co-host Miss Lacey Griffin and producer Donnie Walker. See you next time.
You've entered Knox Country Outtakes.
Like we're not going to see him in 20 minutes.
We are here this week with Michael Tyler, award-winning singer, songwriter, artist, son of a legend that we will be talking about here in a little bit.
What's up?
Son of a legend?
Well, yeah. Good call.
Close.
Oh, he's on TV.
He's
somewhere.
Somewhere on the tube.
Yeah. They say I'm on TV.
We saw you.
Michael's could be, if I was a girl like you, I'd be listening to Knox Country 360. So, Michael, when you were younger and you were drinking blood in your kitchen.
Yeah, this would be great for the show.
Did you think you would ever be a hit songwriter? Or was that the twilight?
Never know. It could have been some of Red Aiken's blood.
Knox Country Podcast Edition.